guys, once again, Matt, aka Jug 2 Driver, Skill 4x4 RC, Axial Wraith build part 6. This is going to be the center plate with the transmission mount, and then you'll also see the axle link installation. What I'm pointing out here is that there's two different size screws when mounting the transmission to the plate itself. So you just want to make sure that you pay attention to that, get them in the right spot, get the right ones. And then I use sort of a cross installation method, kind of like you would with a set of lug nuts. Go to, if it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, you go 1, 3, 2, 4, something like that. That way, everything kind of gets tightened evenly. That way, I'm not over tightening one corner or one side more so than the other. It's just a method I like to use. Alright, now I'm moving on to the front axle and link installation. The first thing I'll do is get the drive shaft mounted to the output shaft of the transmission. It's just what I prefer to do. It's kind of hard to reach once you get the links in place, so that is what I'm getting ready to do here. Get it lined up, screw it in, tighten it up, make sure it's snug. And now I'm moving on to the lower links, and these use a pin similar to the one that was used for the drive shaft yoke. And just kind of slide that in there, line it up, and get your lower link ball end in place, and then tighten it up. Be careful not to over tighten, because you can push the screw or the pin too far through, and it could pull out on you if you're not careful. And do the other side, same process. Now moving on to the upper links. These use just a normal screw, as it were. These are self-tapping, so there's no bolt on the other side. Different head size, though, so I had to change my hex head. It's just one of those little things that Axial kits do, constantly changing the tool size for different hex heads as you move around in the same construction phase. All right, there's the front done. Get an idea of how it's supposed to look. Now move on to the rear axle. Once again, I'll start this by hooking the drive shaft up first. You could put some Loctite on that if you want. I don't, but you could if you wanted to. Now I'm moving on to the upper links. I'm doing that first on this, whereas on the front axle I did it last, just because I already had that hex driver set up. Now moving on to the lower links. Now these I had to adjust the angle just a little bit to get them lined up. So you just want to make sure, I think, if I remember right, these ball ends have a slight angle to them. So you just want to make sure they're lined up properly. See, you kind of make out that there is a slight angle on that head. And I'm going to start the pin, get it in, get everything kind of snugged up and tight, lined up. And then what you see in just a second is that I actually measure the depth of the head of this pin in there by just using the driver and kind of where my fingertip is. That way I can get an idea of how deep the pin head is, so I can make sure that I've got enough of it on both sides of the center plate, just to make sure that I'm not over tightened or have too little or too much on the inside or the outside. Right there you can see how I'm doing it, kind of getting an idea of how deep everything is. It's inexact, but it does, it gives you an idea of where that head is. So I'm checking the other side just to line it up and make sure everything's good. And that's the center plate, transmission, and axles all installed. Stay tuned.